I want a better audio recording, so I'm beating it again. And it's a fun level, so I don't mind it. Beat it. 2 minutes, 15 attempts, by the way. Alright. This level's pretty sick. I got a little frustrated with it towards the end, but overall this level's really, really cool. I'm a pretty big fan of it. My total attempt count for this level was 3,168 attempts. That is a bit more than I expected for a level of this difficulty, but considering this level's pretty far outside of my skill set, I'm not super surprised, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, this level's really sick. I'm a really big fan of it. I think it plays really well, and for what it's trying to do, I think the level's great, so I'd really recommend this one. This one's really cool. Superconductor by At424. After I beat Loose Ends a few weeks ago, I thought that my hunger for click sync based extreme demons would have been satiated, but the moment that spring break started for me, I instantly wanted to play another level of that nature. I looked around for a little bit. I looked into things like the AREDL as well as Zeronium and Technical Second channels, as their channel serves a way for me to discover newer extreme demons, and eventually I was able to remember that this level existed. However, since I'm notoriously bad at spam, the spider part in this level scared me quite a lot, and I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to beat it or not. But with a little bit of experimenting, I was able to figure out that I could do the spider pretty easily by alternating, so I decided to full send the level. And I'm really glad I did, because this level is honestly one of my new favorite extreme demons in the game. This level is awesome, man. Going into the gameplay now, I'm going to start off with the first 41% of this level, or the first ship and the spider. This was definitely the easier half of the level for me, and it was scarily consistent throughout pretty much the entirety of me playing this level. The first ship really isn't anything too crazy. It's really difficult, and it did take a while to get down, but since it's not even 10 seconds long, it was never really a massive hindrance to my enjoyment of the level. And after 30 minutes from zero, I was able to pass it like every other attempt, so it was never really a massive complaint for me despite its difficulty. Now, moving on to the spider. Despite how scary the spider seemed to me in the beginning, this was probably the part of the level that I found to be the easiest and most consistent. As I mentioned earlier, since I decided to alternate inputs for the spider, I never really got any hand pain or fatigue with it, and since towards the end of my time with this level, I was able to do the spider like every single attempt, it was basically nothing more than a cutscene for me, which was really nice because I was really expecting the spider to give me a lot of problems. And I really have no complaints with it. It was super consistent and synced incredibly well, which is honestly kind of surprising. All the timings in the spider felt equal in difficulty, and honestly, it was fine. It was even super satisfying once it got really consistent. Like, I would go as far as to say that I liked the part quite a lot. Now, moving on to the second half of the level, or 41 to 100%. This was definitely the harder half of the level for me by quite a large margin, because the gameplay in this half does actually require you to think. It's not like a spider where you can alternate click for 30 seconds and get past it with pretty much no thought. The wave spanning from 41 to 55% was another part of this level that I was really scared of, but it ended up giving me very little problems once I was able to get the wave down. It's unbelievably satisfying to play through, and for the most part, it's synced to perfection. However, I do have two pretty big complaints with this section. The first one is the wave area from 45 to 47%. The transition into this wave was already kind of rough since the camera isn't centered on your icon as you go into the wave portal, but the transition isn't necessarily bad or anything. However, it does become problematic when you get to the first 4 clicks of the wave following this transition. These clicks felt completely off sync as compared to the rest of the wave. And since I couldn't just click to the music to get past this wave, unlike I could for the rest of the wave, this section felt essentially luck-based. I will say that this could definitely be a personal issue. Some people may not find this section off sync at all. Unfortunately though, I did, and it was really annoying for me for a little while. I will also say that eventually I was able to adjust to the transition as well as the off-sync clicks, meaning that this section did get just as consistent as the rest of the wave did. So overall, I really can't say that the issue is as bad as I thought it was, but I did want to at least mention it since it did have an effect on my experience overall. The second complaint I have with the wave is a lot more frustrating. In the transition out of the wave, if you go too high in the cube portal, even though you won't hit the spike at the top of the cube portal as a wave, your transformation from the wave game mode into the cube game mode can kill you by hitting that spike. It was so frustrating to die there, especially while learning the level, and it was probably my biggest complaint with the level overall. The death just felt completely unfair every time I died to it, so it was especially frustrating. It also feels like such an easy fix. Literally just make that top spike no touch, and the transition is completely fixed. Luckily, this transition did only kill me once from 0%, so it really was only an annoyance while I was practicing the wave, but it's still something that I found extremely annoying anytime I died to it. Now, I know I did just complain about the wave a lot, but I want to say that overall this wave is probably my favorite part of the level. And when the entirety of the wave was consistent, man, oh my gosh, it was so fun. This wave is a dream for any player that enjoys high CPS click sync like I do. This wave was genuinely amazing to play, and it's some of the most satisfying gameplay I have ever played despite the 2 complaints that I have. It is so good. Moving on to the cube and the ship right after the wave, honestly, I don't have a ton to say about this section. The cube did feel impossible at first, since the orb timings were all pretty tight, but with a little bit of practice, I was able to get the cube down pretty quickly, to the point where I was able to pass the cube pretty much every attempt, both from runs and from 0%. And just like with the wave, it was incredibly fun, it was incredibly satisfying, and it was incredibly consistent. The ship after the wave, I also found to be surprisingly difficult. It killed me a ton in runs, but I honestly think that's just because I didn't give it a ton of practice, or at least not as much as I should have. And I only died to the ship once from 0 anyways, so it really wasn't a big problem for me. Finally, we have the post drop, or the final robot and the final ship of the level. I gotta say, when it comes to level endings, this is up there with one of my favorites. It felt very climactic doing both the robot and the ship from 0%. A lot of people said that the last robot of this level was super difficult, and to some extent, I can see where they're coming from, but I don't necessarily agree with that. It definitely wasn't free, but I never found it to be overtly difficult or anything. And I only had one death to it from 0%, that being 81%, which was solely a nerve death. So I honestly have no complaints with the robot, and just like with the wave and the cube before it, I found it to be really satisfying. The final ship of this level is nothing notable. It's not difficult at all, thankfully. So once you make it there, you're basically guaranteed to beat the level. I want to go ahead and point out that the last holds of the ship is genuinely one of the coolest endings to a level I've played in a while. It's such a neat way to end off the level, especially since it matches the chorus in the background of the song. It's like a ship is flying off into the stars after you beat the level, and it's a very fitting and very cool send-off to a really cool level. I really liked it. Overall, Superconductor is an awesome level. It's super satisfying, it's super consistent, and it's super fun from start to end. And ignoring my 2 complaints that I have with the wave section, I basically have nothing bad to say about this level. I think that At424 genuinely outdid himself, especially since this is his first solo Extreme Demon. Bro released his first solo Extreme Demon and freaking made it like a 10 out of 10. At424, if you're watching this, I just want to say that your level is utterly fantastic and I love it. This is awesome and you did a great job with it. As for difficulty, as is usual with levels around this difficulty, I'm not 100% sure where this places. I'd personally call it quite a bit harder than A2 Marvel, but I wouldn't call it harder than Blade of Justice. Since this skill set is not one that I'm personally very good with, I don't think that my opinion on this level's difficulty is super valid, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. It could be harder or easier than what I said. Overall, if you're interested in Superconductor and you can handle the high CPS nature of the gameplay, I would highly recommend you give this level a shot. It's genuinely one of the most fun Extreme Demons of its difficulty, and once again, At424 outdid himself with it. You'd be missing out if you decided not to give this level a shot, so if you have the skill for it and you can handle this type of gameplay, absolutely go play it. As of recording this is my 95th rated Extreme Demon, or my 96th depending on if Maniac gets rated or not. I only have a couple levels left until I reveal what my 100th Extreme Demon and next hardest is. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow my Twitch channel and follow me on Twitter to be sure that you don't miss the reveal of my 100th Extreme Demon. But yeah, that'll be it from me. Have a good one, everyone.